Hey guys, welcome to the Soul on Fire show. I am super excited today because I have a special treat for you today. We are going deep into the fear of rejection, and we are going here today live. Thank you guys so much for those of you that are on the live and those that are on the replay. Super excited today because I have a new best friend and he's on the show today with me. His name is Oceguera, and he works with energy. He's a business strategist, and he will change your life. We're going to talk about fear of rejection. We're going to go deep into relationships and business. We're going to talk about the emotional body today, guys, and we are going to take you on a journey of, wait till you see, you're going to be so excited. I'm so excited. You can see my energy. It is so incredible because this human that I have met in just, I think about a week ago, he's truly the light in this world, and he is so transformative in lives. And we're going to go deep into the emotional body today, guys. So let's talk a little bit about what fear actually is, and fear of rejection, and what rejection actually is. And so if you're emanating out into the world, fear of rejection, it is a humongous sign. I teach all the time on this channel. We merge science and spirituality. And today is Wednesday. So today we get to teach, right? All the ridiculousness on TikTok and YouTube, and the travel and adventure that you can find on the other platforms. But today is Wednesday, and today we teach. So today we're going to talk about fear. We're going to go deep into the mind-body connection of fear, and what that actually means, with how your inner child and your wounded masculine and your wounded feminine come up. We are going to talk about this incredible opportunity of what rejection actually brings in your life, right? And it is never, ever a no. It is either a no, a firm no, a maybe, or it is a not now from the universe. And so when you have rejection, it is your own inner work that needs to be done, right? And so the biggest thing in the world, guys, is to understand that when you have rejection, it comes up very much in relationships, it comes up in business, it comes up in finance all the time, right? When you have rejection in your life, it is truly that you are rejecting a part of yourself. And when you understand that, it is the biggest thing that you can understand is that you are rejecting a part of you. And we're going to go deep into that. I'm going to bring Rich on right now, and we are going to talk about the mind-body connection. We're going to talk about the fear of rejection. We're going to talk about the emotional body. Guys, if you stay till the end, because Rich has a super big surprise for you. So make sure you stay till the end. And we're going to bring Rich on right now. Hi, Rich. How are you?
Hi. Wow. I'm like blushing from all of your lovely things you said.
Your energy is magnetic, and you are so beautiful and so incredible. You have so much light to bring to this world. Why don't you tell my viewers what you do and how you transform lives?
So I just want to make funny sounds. I don't know. It's your energy too. So I'm a transformation catalyst, and what does that mean? So I work with people who realize that they're not living to their fullest potential that they have in their hearts. They know that they're on the planet to do more than just go to work and pay the bills. There's some bigger message that they have to share with the world. And usually they're on the fence. They are hesitant. They're afraid of rejection. They're afraid of, what if I get it wrong? What if no one cares? What if, why me? There's all the things, right? And so I work with people to help them get over themselves. So yeah, so they can really put the focus not on me, but on we, and on helping transform the planet, and with their special and specific message. So I think that I guess that's the shortest way of the outcome that people get when they work with me, is that they start to actually believe how freaking amazing they are, and that it isn't about them at all. It's about the other people out there who they can help bring forward in to new levels in their lives. So that's what I do.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, you are being humble, and you truly do change dramatically. I mean, you go into the trauma, and you go into the shadows, and you go into the depths of what people do, and you do a lot of shadow work, and you work with energy, and you truly transform lives. So you are being super humble. So thank you for being so humble. But I know that your greatness, and I know how much you truly transform lives. So let's talk about fear, and what fear actually is, and how it is when people are paralyzed in business, when people are paralyzed in love, or a lot comes up with me with fear, right? Because I work with the quantum fields, and so it's truly this journey, right, that you have with fear. Let's talk about that, and what it is first and foremost, and how energetically it shows up in your life, in every area of your life that you're in.
Yeah, well, can I tell you a little story?
Yeah, of course. I love stories. You know that.
When I was a kid, the best way I can talk about this is to explain like how it showed up in my life. So, that game Dodgeball that kids have to play, at least in the United States. I know you have an international audience, but in the United States, there's this awful game called Dodgeball where, kids get put into the middle of a circle, and there's kids on the outside, and then they throw a ball at your head, and then, it's traumatic and scars you for the rest of your life. Well, for me, because I was always the last kid to get picked on any team, whatever the sport was, always the last, never the captain, and always the first one to get hit in the head with the ball, or to mess up and get out of the game. And I started to learn at a really young age. I made stories up, right? Because this is what we do. Like, it must mean something. So I started to believe, people don't like me. There's something wrong with me. Groups are dangerous. Groups of people I should stay away from. It's better to be alone, just an army of one. And so I started to develop those beliefs. And then later in life, when I was about 17, a classmate from high school came to my front door, and I answered the door, and he was someone who I didn't expect or nor want to see at my front door, because he was a bully for me. And he asked to talk to my mom, and I thought, that's weird. Okay. So I got my mom. She's on one side of the door, I'm on the other side. And he proceeds to tell her that I'm gay. Wow. And he outed me. Like, my life flashed in front of my eyes.
Oh my goodness.
And the next day I got taken to the church office to sit with the pastor, because our family was very involved in our church. I was very involved in our church at the time. And I was basically told, you have to make a choice. Either you're Christian or you're gay.
Wow.
And somehow I was 17, right? Somehow, like, I already had started questioning this whole idea of like that there's only one God, that's one way, and only for some people, because that's what our church taught. I couldn't believe that the rest of the world, who they were saying were, bad sinners going to hell, that could be true. I couldn't believe that. And so that came to mind, and I said, well, then I'm gay. And no, I said I'm both. And the pastor said, you can't be, you have to choose. And then I said, well, then I'm gay. I don't know how I had the nerve to say that instead of, well, I'm Christian, and then, hide some more. But I said, well, I knew I'd figure out my relationship with the universe somehow. Right. So I was told to leave my home, and I was 17. You're a mom. I was 17.
I have a 17-year-old.
Oh, okay. I already had gotten accepted to a college. I was going to be an interior architect. That's what my dream was at the time. So I got accepted to the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising, which was a big deal. I got accepted as a junior. I was set, and now I'm in my senior year, and my parents decided, nope, we're not sending you to that school because there's too many gay people there. And I was just put out, and I made that mean a lot of things, right? Nobody wants me. I'm rejectable. I'm not worthy. There's something wrong with me. And everything that had meant something to me had been ripped away from me at that time. My church, my school, I was even bullied. I'd get death threats in my locker at school. Like, there's just all kinds of craziness. So suffice to say that really put a lock on my mindset. And I didn't know this was happening, but years later, flash forward, it gets better. I was in New York City, and I started working with a coach who was my sales trainer, basically. And I was having trouble closing deals because at a certain money level, I wasn't able to just confidently ask for the sale. And my coach was like, we got to work on that. There's something there for you that's just got to be broken, and recreated. And this all was new stuff to me, this mindset stuff at the time. And actually, I worked at a hypnosis center, and where I got trained in hypnosis and neuro-linguistic programming. But I was a salesperson.
Welcome to my world.
That's how I got introduced to all the one way. So I'd go home crying because he was relentless with me. He just saw the potential in me. He saw me as more capable and bigger than I could at the time. And he taught me some things around how to create a different mindset, and shifted my ability to do my job and to actually make money. and that was part of the journey of self-discovery. I've studied many different spiritual paths as a result, just trying to figure out, like, what is my relationship to the universe? Like, is it true there's only one way that you could talk to God, or whatever you call it? And it was just this constant training in mindset development, neuro-linguistic studies, transformation studies, different religious studies, spiritual studies, you name it. All to kind of figure out, who am I? And along the way, it became clear that this was what I was to teach. But fear, to go back to the question, I love it, we've heard this a million times, but false evidence appearing real. Mm-hmm. And I believed the false evidence. I believed those false ideas about who I am and what I'm capable of. And I just thought that's how it is. And that was my lot in life. And when I learned that that was changeable, and that I could actually, like, the brain can create new neural pathways, new mental thought patterns, like, that literally blew my mind. It changed my mind, literally. And I created the Rich that you see now. I used to be terribly shy, extremely self-conscious, worried about what you would think about me. And I lost out on a lot of opportunities and a lot of money along the way too, because I stayed safe so that you wouldn't reject me. So that fear kept me from so many things, because it was comfortable, even though it was eating me alive.
Well, I want to honor you, first of all, because that is one, to be on national television and talk about that story is incredibly brave. And so, and I want to honor what you have gone through, right? And that is not an easy journey. And that's through our pain is our purpose, right? And that is truly, truly when you understand that now you get to teach, and you're going to save so many lives from that one story, right? And so many people are going to come out and live their truth because of you being able and brave enough to do that. So I want to honor you for that, because that is not an easy journey, right? And so when we understand that our fear is there, because it's showing us, and I say this all the time on this channel, is that if you are aware, you are coming from a place of an awareness, and you are the observer of your life, right? You observe what it is teaching you. You is showing you that you had to go through that and master that to be able to teach that back to people, right? And so let's talk about that, and let's talk about rejection in general, because rejection shows up in your life in many, many ways. It doesn't just show up as, the relationship that's failed. It actually shows up as self-sabotage. It shows up as you not getting the job, someone else getting chosen, you not getting the team. You said a few of those, but let's go even deeper into the fact of what it does on a daily basis to your morale, to who you are, to your self-worth, and putting yourself out there in your purpose if you have a fear of rejection.
Yeah. Well, it's debilitating, right? I'm trying to think back to like how I was when I lived in that state, in that mindset, right? That state of being where it was this constant fear, even if it wasn't conscious, it was running subconsciously, right? It was driving the show, driving the boat. And there would just be, the way I'm seeing it right now is just the not taking risks, not saying yes, not allowing myself to explore and understand the world around me to the fullest extent, because it was dangerous. My little rich brain said, "Oh no! If there was literally a group of people, danger, stay away, because they're going to reject you." Like, it just happened. It was just, how this works. It's just an automatic response. Once we have these mental thought habits, like groups, people are dangerous, right? That was a thought habit I used to have. When we have that, then the brain is designed to, once the potential danger presents itself, even seems to present itself, the brain says, "Oh, I know what to do with that. Nope, stay away."
Just like your amygdala gets fired, right? And so you go into fight or flight, and you're like, no, I'm going into protection mode, and you withdraw. That exactly.
Yeah. It's the same thing why we don't put our hand on an open flame, hopefully, on the stove, right? Because we did at some point, usually when we were a kid, and we learned, ouch, that's not good. And so this exact same mechanism is what drives our fear of rejection. And so it's extremely debilitating. It really is just minimizing. It is depleting a tremendous amount of energy that goes into resistance. Being in a place of resistance takes work, rather than being in the flow where you're being pulled along with the current. To resist opportunities and people and things and places, that takes more out of us to do that. And so, I just think I'm looking back then, and I did a lot of amazing things too. I still had a great life, and the relationship with my mother got healed over time, and that took work, but it's in a very different place now. But there was just a lot of, I can see myself as diminished, and not, I was just so worried about what you were going to say to me or about me, that I would just avoid any type of situation that might be too exposing, or even, God forbid, confrontational. So,
avoidance is such a big trigger, right? Avoidance is, hey, I'm not safe right now, right?
Yeah.
And that's tremendous. So let's talk about self-sabotage and how that ties into fear, and how, going even further, right? How, when we are wounded as a child, and the inner child, when it's wounded, it shows up in our adult life, right? It shows up as us holding back from maybe not taking that extra step, not having the voice to be on television, not living our purpose, not actually going through the pain to get to our purpose, right?
Yeah, self-sabotage. I mean, as a mindset, coach, it's so prevalent, and so, I have the privilege of working with really smart people who also happen to have this self-sabotage, and so many people do. So it's not unique to just some people. But these ideas of beating. I used to beat myself up a lot, because I also have the privilege of being a Virgo. So So there's always this like perfection, if you're going to look at it from the astrological point of view. But there was just a lot of beating myself up and keeping and restricting myself from being hurt. And then all I was doing, basically, I'm just imagining myself right now, like in a fetal position, crying. Because along with this, other things developed, like depression, and even when I was 14, and I was planning to commit suicide. Literally, like I had it all planned out. And luckily, I told my two best friends at the time, and luckily they told my parents. And I had a summer job, and my parents arrived at my job to pick me up. That wasn't like the plan, right? They didn't have to do that, but they were there because my friends told on me. But there was, even at 14, I had talked myself into life is not worth living because of the rejection that I was feeling. And so, when we believe it long enough, we find ways to avoid it or to extinguish it. And that can lead to so many things, right? To numb and block out these heavy negative feelings. And that's why it's so important, like what you do, right? The work that we do, to help people see it, that there is another way, and that it is possible to create our lives through our thoughts, and really bring things into existence, even though it seems impossible right now.
Beautiful. Wow. That is so powerful. And I honor you so much. What an incredible story. And you have such a gift to bring out to the world. Thank you for being so raw and real. And thank you for using your voice to change humanity. There are so many people in your position that are hurting. There are so many people in your position that may have saved someone's life today because you were brave enough to say that. And I honor you. We're going to take a quick break for a commercial, and then we're going to go deep into understanding the journey of the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine and how that looks on your journey. I honor you so much, Rich. Thank you for being here. We have a lot more show for you guys. Stay tuned. Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for those of you that are on the live. Thank you those that are watching the replay. I'm so excited because I am here with Rich today, and he has opened up and he has shared his story about fear of rejection, and he has told a story about coming out. He has told his story about conquering life and conquering self-sabotage, and how you go from the dark night of your soul all the way to becoming the greatest version of you and living your purpose. Thank you, Rich, for being here. I'm super excited to have you. Let's go deep into the inner child wounding, and let's talk about what that looks like as an adult, right? Because that little child that was wounded at 6 years old comes out as a 40-year-old or a 50-year-old, right? And so let's talk about the wounding.
I'll take the 40. Thank you. I'm 51, but I like the 40.
Let's talk about the wounded masculine and the wounded feminine, and how the divine masculine and the divine feminine come into play with that. And when you heal your inner child and you heal your woundedness, right? If there are people in your life that are toxic, if there are situations in your life that are toxic, if lack is showing up, if self-sabotage is showing up, if you are not feeling worthy, or you're always trying to get that promotion, there's something in your life that is showing you that there is a wound that needs to be healed. Everything is you pushed out, right? And I say that all the time. We heal humanity by going within. So let's talk about that, and let's talk about the journey within and how important that is on this journey.
How much time do we have? I want to show you, as you were speaking, it made me realize why I keep this. So this is me and my mom, and I'm probably 5 or so, wearing my little Mickey Mouse hat. I keep that there, and other images of me about that age on purpose, because it helps remind me of the child, Rich, and the things that I went through and saw that are beyond talking about right now. Things that happened to me that literally wounded me, not just in a verbal way, and that I carried all of that for so long, and didn't know that those, on one hand, those things shouldn't have happened to me. On another hand, on a very metaphysical level, I chose this life to live. I chose that woman to come into and through. That's my belief system. And these are all the lessons, all this stuff, as sad as any of it has sounded, these are the lessons that I signed up for. And when I got that concept, oh my gosh, it gave me so much power, so much empowerment, right? That I don't have to be a victim. It doesn't make any of it right or better. We're all here learning our lessons, but it allowed me to forgive. A lot of this work allowed me to forgive the people who, I perceived as the inflictors of pain, whether it was physical, emotional, spiritual. That was a really huge lesson. And that's how spiritual work is, right? We continue to peel back layers, and just when we think, we're there, now we're just ready for another layer or something to be healed, whether it's from this lifetime or a past lifetime, or, oh my gosh, a future lifetime. I don't know. Maybe that's a different show.
Ancestral even, right? I mean,
yes, exactly. So it took a while in my journey to get to these concepts of the divine masculine and the divine feminine. And I think it's such a great topic, because a lot of people, even spiritual people, aren't necessarily aware of the difference between the physical masculine and feminine, the human bodies, versus the energetic, the spiritual aspects of those things. And I know I was sharing with you when we had our love explosion fest yesterday.
Seriously, was a love explosion. I was like, you're my best friend.
I know. I felt the same way. I had learned about these concepts logically, and because I had seen myself as this spiritually evolving man through all of my years of studies and whatnot. I knew them intellectually, but it wasn't until the universe dragged me to San Diego that I finally understood that the reason that I'm here in this location on the planet currently was to experience the divine feminine energy, and to understand that aspect, and how I desperately needed to allow that part of me to be present, and to be part of how I function. And it was confusing at first. It doesn't mean I'm supposed to be a woman. It doesn't mean I'm transgender. There's nothing we're talking about on a sexual, physical level, right? This is all energetic, but the ability to receive, how about that concept, right? Receptivity is associated with divine feminine. And I had lived in New York for 18 years, New York City specifically, right? Which is a very masculine energy, very pounding. I mean, New York City is built on beds of crystal, quartz crystal, which is like conductor of creativity and energy and light, right? That's why it's so energetic there. San Diego is built on large patches of watermelon tourmaline, which is the exact opposite energy.
Well, moving from New York to San Diego it is you have to really adjust your energy. It really is. Both of us being New Yorkers moving to San Diego, you got to be like whoop. But now I'm so San Diego. It's crazy. But totally. You did say two really powerful things in there. You said one that you are you are not the victim. You are, and to be victorious, that's the only way that you can live your life. If you want to be victorious, is you have to look at it from you are not the victim. This is a lesson in my life, correct? And then from that space, you said one other really powerful thing was that you had forgiveness, right? And so radical forgiveness, and I teach this all the time, is forgiving all the way to the situation and the circumstances, and forgiving not only the people that hurt you, but also forgiving yourself for going through that, right? And understanding that your soul's journey and soul contracts and sacral contracts, I'll link that below, a soul contract show, because we don't have much time to talk about that, but that's a great tie-in to your soul has chosen this, right? And it's chosen the journey. But the big thing with those are choice. So let's talk about choice, because there were many opportunities in my life, and I'm sure in yours as well, that you had a choice, right? You said in the first segment that you had a choice between Christianity and being gay, and you were like, wait, I'm gonna be gay because that's my soul, right? And so that was a tremendous choice in your life. But let's talk about the choice of fear and self-sabotage and the things on a daily basis that show up. Let's talk about that.
Oh boy, you really want to go in. Okay, let's do it.
This is what we do on this channel.
Well, I'm just going to talk, and whoever can hear it will hear it, right? This was a big learning for me, because when I was still operating primarily from victim mode, and sometimes I can slip into that. I'm a human being, right? It could happen during any day, any given day. There may be moments when I'm like not where I am right in this conversation, right? But mostly I'm coming from the point of view that life is happening for me, not to me.
Say that again.
Life is happening for you, not to you.
Yes, exactly.
Simple words, and huge mindset shift, heart set shift, like cellular reconfiguration shift, when you really like just let that sink in, right? I know when I first started hearing that, I was like, what? That's ridiculous. There's some aspect of our brain, of our human physiology, that wants to hang on to the victimhood. And it, and I think it's part of it is tied to our desire to be right. I am right. Dang it, that you ruined my life. And
that's part of being the victim, right? Is when you have to push the blame out on someone else, as opposed to accept accountability for where you are on that journey. And there are many times that you are victimized. I will never take that away from anyone. But it doesn't mean that you have to stay in the energy of being a victim, correct?
Yeah, and that's where it gets messy. I guess that's why I was hesitating, because I know this opens up the whole like, well, what if I got cancer, or I was raped, or these things that seem to be so out of our control, and sometimes they are, right? We didn't outright ask for them.
Our soul chose it, but we were victimized. Our soul chose the journey of victimization, and then from that space, we get to choose not to be a victim, right?
What you said, yes, thank you. You made it much more elegant than I would have right there. Yes. But it's if we can get to the place of, well, I know you asked this question, and I don't know where I heard you say it. Oh, you said it in one of your previous videos. And I asked, is one of my favorite questions to ask is like, how's that working for you? Right?
That's literally, my clients hate, and they're like, shut up.
How's that working for you? Well, it's not, right? And if we're in that place of victimization and victimhood, it serves a purpose, right? We get to be right, like,
gives us attention.
Yes, it serves some kind of purpose. But if you're on a journey of personal development and also spiritual development, they intertwine, and they're different distinctions for me. If you're on that journey, at some point, you're going to have to deal with this. You just are, because you're going to know too much. You're going to have grown too much, and you'll get to those traumas in your life that you may be holding on to with all that unforgiveness, because they're wrong, and like they're those people were bad, or those situations were bad, and it caused some pain over here. And while the things happened, we're not here to negate that stuff happens, right? But how do we want to keep looking at it is it worth holding on to the bitterness and the pain and the hurt and the trauma to be right? Or at the expense of not growing past that limit, past that cap, right? And as long as we're holding on to it, we can't really go too much past it, because it's still there like a rock in your shoe when you're that's just like, you feel it, you keep walking, it's not too big that stops you, but it's still bothering you. But if you just stopped and took the rock out, you'd be a lot more comfortable. And that's kind of how this is. In it, when you're willing to be bigger than that situation in your life, or the fears in your life, the fear of rejection, when you're willing to be bigger, that willingness opens up the space of possibility, where then how to be bigger, how and what's next is able to come in, right? But when we're not willing and we're shut off and we're just going to be right about being a victim, we can't let in what's next for us.
And that is so true. And you know that I go deeper into the energetic aspect of it. And when we open up space, and we even, like I even told, we did an activity and I expanded your energy fields in 5 minutes, right? And so when you understand the mindset of being a victim is so constricted energy, right? And so when you understand that being victorious is expansive energy, that's where you want to put your energy towards, right? You want to make a conscious choice saying, oh, hey, this is really hurting me. This has hurt me in the past. And you want to get it out, and you want to actually have a conversation. Like if people saw me in my brain, like I have a conversation with God, I have a conversation with the mailman, I have a conversation with myself all day, every day, without them even knowing, like energetic conversations. And it's so important to understand that the most important relationship you can have is with you, right? And when you understand that you are not a victim, you have a conversation with you and the baby boy or the baby girl inside of you and say, baby girl, I love you so, so, so much. And I'm so sorry this happened to you, but this is not holding you back. This can't hold us back anymore, right? You're an adult. And I say, what would happen if you left a 4-year-old child alone in a house and you went away and you went on vacation and came back? The child would either be dead or literally the house would be a disaster. And there would be more chaos than you ever know. If you're not taking control of your life, you're having your inner child run that program in your life, right?
Yeah, I love that. That's a great visual. Yeah. And I love what you just said too, is really important, because this conversation could sound harsh, especially anyone out there listening who has experienced really, extreme trauma. I know, I'm aware. That's why I was like, oh, okay, we're going to go there.
I always go there.
Awesome.
My show is totally controversial.
Bring it on. But the acknowledging, the compassion, the self-compassion, just like you just explained, this happened and it's awful and it hurt and it did cause problems and trauma. Okay. And we're alive. We're here right now. We're still here, right? And so how do we want to move forward? What's ahead of us? I love this idea of talking to our inner child like this. That's why I'm saying we, right? How, what is possible now? And the fun question, what gift did that trauma have to teach me? That's the next layer, right?
Well, let's go there actually, because that was literally, you're reading my mind. It is so the lessons that show up with different people in different circumstances, but persistent same lesson over and over again. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not safe right now. I'm not lovable. I'm not secure, or I'm not whole and complete, right? When we're looking for outside sources to validate whatever is going on, that's when we're still in the victim, right? So let's talk about that and the lessons that life teaches us and how we actually can use that to transmute the energy within us, and not only just the energy, but also transmute that into being victorious.
Okay.
Powerful question.
Well, my belief is that everything that happens, so let me back up a second. If, like what I said earlier, if life is happening for me and not to me, and then something traumatic does happen, and I see it as happening for me, then what's the for part, right? What's that gift in the mess? you know, and we can look at like just COVID, right? This last year, we've all gone through this collective thing, still, and you know, it's whatever people believe or what side of what fence anyone is on. It's happening. It's out there, and the impact of it, regardless of what anyone believes, there's an impact of what has happened because this thing has been on a global level with us for over a year now, right? And these
global awakening is what I call it.
Yes, I agree. So it's awful. We can see all the numbers. We can all the division that's happened because of views about it. Blah blah blah. But what are the gifts that have come out of it? Like, that's like a weird thing, right? Like, what greatness has come out of this period of in many cases forced solitude, or having to, you know, not be out in public the way we used to be and interacting with everybody and just going along like, you know, life was always going to be the same. And suddenly it was like, you know, complete plot twist, right? There were a lot of gifts that came out of that. And for many people that I know, like, they've had the best years of their lives in their businesses, or transformations that have opened up new ways of seeing what's possible for their lives. Like, I'm one of those. I had totally given up on myself as a transformation catalyst. I was focused on a different business pursuit, but I had said, you know what? I guess I'm just not meant to do this. I convinced myself before COVID that was true, because some things didn't go the way I thought they should go. And things got really hard for me when I came to San Diego. So I made it mean this is not this. It worked in New York. I had a successful 6-figure business in New York. I built it in a year coaching. And when I came here, no one wanted any of it. San Diegans did not want me. People would say, "Oh, you are so East Coast." And I'd say, "Thank you." And my energy was like New York. And, you know, we just talked about that. Everyone here was like hanging out and in the business world. And they were not, I wasn't a match. And I couldn't figure out, my coaches couldn't figure it out. And so I made it mean there's something wrong with me, or this is just not what I'm supposed to do anymore. So I stopped. And then COVID comes along. And I had enough time with myself. And
so I'm gonna cut you off only because we have to go to commercial. But
yes.
So wrap it up very quickly. What was the gift from everything? And there's a gift in everything, right? In lessons in life. If we see through our pain is always our purpose. Maybe a quick point on that before we go to commercial.
Yeah, just so here I am, right, with you. This never would have happened if I didn't look for the gifts and see what was possible newly from a negative situation. And that's it. Like, so anything that's happening, we can look for what's possible because this happened. How can I use it or not to move my life forward? So I never would be sitting here talking to you about transforming people's lives if I didn't see the gift of space by myself and being able to tap back into the truth of what I'm really on this planet for.
I love that so much. That is so beautiful. Well, thank you so much for sharing your beautiful journey with us and our audience. You have so much gifts to bring to the world. Our show today is sponsored by my company, Noelle Agape Global. And at Noelle Agape Global, we are here for the greatest version of you to come out in any way possible. However, we can bring you value of finding you and the greatest version of you. We bring that out. We will be right back, guys. Hi guys, welcome back. Thank you so much for those of you that are on the live. Thank you those that are watching the replay. We are here today and we were talking about fear of rejection. We're talking about the transformation catalyst, Rich, and he is so incredible. And he has brought us so much light and brought so many brave stories to us. We talked about being victorious as opposed to being the victor. We talked about self-sabotage and how you show up in the world. We talk about having choices and what that looks like on a daily basis to make a better choice, to be a better version of you. Hey, Rich, thank you so much for being here. We're so happy to have
Thank
you.
you.
What a beautiful show this has been. So let's talk deep about the journey of now moving from, we had the fear and then we had the transformation. We went through the forgiveness and we went through being victorious, and now to power, standing in our power, right? This is when, in my experience and with my clients and my background and everything that I've ever done in my life, this is when the shit hits the fan, right? Is when you step into your purpose and you say yes. That is when every fear that is hidden comes out. Let's talk about the point of moving into your purpose and driving through that regardless of the circumstances.
Well, that it's true. You know, it's interesting. The thing about spiritual work or personal development work, transformation work. I used to think, well, I'm going through this stuff, and then my life will just be like easy breezy for the rest of my time on the planet. No. we grow into greater capability of handling bigger things that we're here to work out, right? And you've said several times, you've talked about like our karmic debt or destiny or fate or the consequences that we've caused ourselves from our past actions.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, these things are here. It's sort of like alchemical. That's how I'm seeing it in my mind. You know, we're here to transform these elements of our lives that have kept us at a lower vibration or a lower frequency, and as we transmute those negative or heavy things, and they kind of slough off of us. In my mind, it helps us reach the higher stuff, the stuff that's higher up that we haven't been able to get to yet.
Yeah.
And but yeah, it turns into, for me at least, and it's not always this, but when something new comes in, now I've gotten to a place. Let me put it this way: when I get triggered by someone, usually it's a person or something, I know now, okay, life is happening for me. It's not happening to me. Why is this person pissing me off so much? And I can look and sit with like, okay, there's a gift in this. I know this is where this is going to go. I don't know what it is yet, but I'm going to allow this to unfold and I'm going to face it rather than run from it. And then it's sort of like spiritual currency, right? The more of this kind of work that we do, it's like putting deposits into our bank account where we're operating then from a greater groundedness and a greater pool of energy. And that helps us to just be stronger and to be more clear and resolute as we go through our daily lives. That's how I see what you're asking me about.
I love that. I love that so much. And so let's talk about that. Let's talk about when your energy is contracted and when your energy is expanded, right? And so it's and again, being an observer of your life, if you go through life and you have conversations with yourself and you feel, oh, wow, this feels really contracted right now. Why am I contracted? What is this teaching me right now? What is this person? If this person was me talking to me, and it was me out pushed, right? Rich was the version of me that I'm seeing. What am I seeing right now? Write it down, right? Say, oh my gosh, I'm seeing anger. I'm seeing hurt. I'm seeing fear. I'm seeing sadness. I'm seeing guilt and shame, right? And then go deeper and saying, again, I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm not safe, secure, and protected. I'm not lovable, right? This feels so contracted. And so when you do that, and when you understand that the contracted energy is showing you the right path, right? And so that's the beautiful. So many times on our journey, when we feel contracted, right, that is truly fear. That is self-sabotage. That is what we have to work through. Then we finally get through the other point of that. And that's when we feel expanded and everything feels so good. And that's when we're in the flow. But you made a very good point, is that if you're in a human body, right, we still have consciousness to learn, right? And so unless that you are ascended and you are not at Christ consciousness unless, because you're still in a human body, right? Period. And so there are many times that we finally get into our purpose where things go really, really smoothly for a while, and then all of a sudden the rug gets pulled out from underneath us, right? Why? Is because we have the next level of evolution to get through. And so if you understand that your energy is either contracted or it is expanded, and we're here to experience and expand, and those are the only two reasons why we're here on this planet. If your experience is not expanding, then it will show you, right? So let's talk about that, and let's talk about like the journey of, give us some tips and takeaways, like core tips and takeaways of what you would do and what you would tell a client that's in the midst of fear, or has just gotten through the fear and working on its purpose, but now is in the expanded energy, and like, where the hell do I go from here, right?
That's a lot of questions. Okay. I'm going to wrap them all together. So, just to give an example of what you just were saying, when I lived in New York City, I had a really nice life. Mm-hmm. And then I followed the call finally to come to San Diego, being led by divine inspiration. I was very clear it wasn't my choice to come here, regardless of how lovely it is. That wasn't on my agenda. I was a New Yorker for 18 years. I was staying there, but I came, and the short way to put it is my life basically completely fell apart. And here I am, a former, owner of a beautiful duplex condo in Williamsburg, and now was living on a borrowed twin bed in someone's bedroom as a roommate. Like, what? Complete opposite of where I had been. And I was so confused, but I kept believing that the universe there was a plan for this. And I obviously had to be going through this. And I had to get to a place, I chose to get to a place of surrender, right? It didn't do me any good to keep asking why or fighting against it or trying to change any of it. I just surrendered. And this is how the whole divine feminine stuff started to come into play as well. And anyways, here we are now, right? Things are vastly different for me now. But I don't know if I would be here in the way I am now if I kept fighting against what was happening and being bitter and angry towards the universe, towards God, for putting me into this situation, so to speak, right? So that surrender was key, was letting go, not giving up, letting go. Different concepts.
So explain the difference between the two for our viewers, because surrender is the final piece of the manifestation, right? And so it's not giving up on your dream. So many people are like, wait, do you want me to focus on what I want, or do you want me to surrender? I'm so confused. So talk about the difference between not giving up and surrendering, because that is a huge point.
Ah, that is good. I guess giving up would be being in a place of defeat and resignation, right? Like literally, like my life is over type of energy, that lower energy, right? Whereas surrender as a spiritual concept is very empowering. It doesn't necessarily, like, I didn't go from a borrowed bed to, now, having a lovely place to live overnight in this situation. But the surrender, when I let go and said, okay, God, I know you have this. My job is to keep putting one foot in front of the other. The how is your job. That's your job.
I'm going to keep a job. I love that. I love that so much. And so, Rich, I know you have a special gift for our audience, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about your gift and how people can find you and what that looks like?
Yes, thank you so much. So I have a system that I work on. Actually, this is normally when clients are working with me, and I'm going to give it to you. It's called the Mind Mastery Formula, and this is a very simple method where you ask a couple of questions to yourself. Am I willing to be bigger than my fears, doubts, worries, and preconceived notions? Am I willing to be bigger than your fears, doubts, and worries and preconceived notions about me? And you create the state of being that you want to live into. And the gift is going to show you exactly how to do this. It's a worksheet called the Mind Mastery Formula. This is one of the key ways, this kind of work that took me from being shy, insecure, totally opposite of the Rich that you see in front of you now. This kind of mindset transformation is, I give credit to this concept that I'm sharing with your viewers. So you can get that at richawakenings.com /gift.
And I'll link that below as well.
Awesome. Thank you. And if you practice it every day, I promise you, my students, my clients who work with me and do this is one of the most talked about things that transforms their experience of who they are. And so I'm happy to give it away. And I guess I'll say this. Everyone watching this, where your mindset is now. The results that you're getting in your life now. And if you know that your thoughts lead to your beliefs, and your beliefs lead to your actions, and your actions lead to your results in life, if you don't like the results in your life, then you go back to the beginning and you change your thoughts. You create new thoughts. And that's what the Mind Mastery Formula does for you, is it helps you to create new thought patterns about yourself at a neuro pathway level. And you start to show up differently in the world, and people start to say things about you because they're seeing the true you. And this is, it sounds really simple. It is, but it takes some work, just like going to the gym, right? We got to show up. We got to treat ourselves to empowering our lives, and treat ourselves like we're worth it. And that's my gift to you, is the one way that you can get to that. And of course, working with Noelle, oh my God, she's amazing. So, do that.
So how can everyone find you?
Yes, on my website, richawakenings.com. Also, all the socials, on Facebook, you can find my page, Rich Awakenings, same name. Instagram, Rich Awakenings Media. But mostly, if you find me on Facebook, then that's going to lead to everything else.
Okay, great. So it's Rich Awakenings on Facebook as well?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, one final takeaway, final thought for our viewers. Rich, you are amazing and wonderful. Thank you for bringing your gifts to the world. We have so much lives to change, and I'm so grateful for you, and I'm grateful for you to be on the show, but are grateful for our newfound friendship for sure.
Yeah.
One quick takeaway.
Wherever you are right now, wherever you are in your life, whatever's happening in your life right now, if it isn't, how's it working for you? If it isn't, then just know that you don't have to stay in that place. You can choose to create something different. It's 100% possible. And I know you have a big gift in your heart to share with the world. And so if you put your focus over there on the lives that you could be transforming, that's what's going to pull you forward as well. And people are waiting right now for the message that you have to share with the world.
I love that so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for bringing a gift to the world. You are a beautiful light in this world, and I am honored to know you and honored to have you on the show. I appreciate you so much, and just truly, truly, truly have such a gift to the world. Guys, if you do not go to his, so one more time, you say your website?
richawakenings.com /gift to get the free gift, but Rich Awakenings.
And I will link that below. But guys, go get that gift. Take care of you. He will change your life. I promise you that. Thank you, Rich. Thank you for being here. It's so great for you to have you. Thank you guys for being on this live, and thank you for being on the replay. I am so excited for this journey for you. If you are feeling fear, or if you're feeling rejection, or if you're feeling self-sabotage, or if you're feeling like the victim, I promise that there is places that you can go. If you're looking for help and you don't know where to go to Rich for sure. He's amazing and he will change your life. If you want more support, go to noelleagape.com. On noelleagape.com, we have 7 practitioners that do anything from yoga all the way through to the quantum. So you can go to our YouTube channel. You could see the ridiculousness on TikTok. There are so many places for you to learn. There is never, ever a reason that you should be in pain. There's never a reason that you should not be living your greatest life. There's never a reason for you not to be a better version of you. I promise you the choices that you are making, guys, are yours. Your choices with your body, your choices with your mind, your choices with your energy, the choices you surround yourself with. The people that you surround yourself with, make better choices on a daily basis. And if you wake up one day and you say today, I'm just going to be a better version of myself, and choose one thing in your life, because your brain can't handle everything at once. Say today, I'm going to choose to be better. I'm going to choose to not be the victim. I'm going to choose to not live in fear. I'm going to choose to understand that life is a choice. I promise you, if you do this for 30 days and you make better choices every single day, and you believe in yourself and you know your power, that your life will change. You are more powerful than you will ever know, and you have such gifts to bring to this world. Change you, and we change humanity. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video.